Welcome back in one of the Bears Probably Plays YouTube channel. Today is September 12th, and I'm back breaking down one more play for Thursday night in college football. This is just a little bit of a teaser before we get into Friday night and Saturday night's matchups. We got a lot of great matchups this weekend. Tonight, we're going to be looking at Arizona State going up against Texas State. Both teams to start off the season 2-0, so somebody is going to take their first loss of the year. Also have two total player props in this video, one game pick, two total player props, both those at the end of the video. Hope everybody enjoys their Thursday, and let's break down some ball. All right, guys, this is the first time we've seen each other since Saturday, so let's break down the games we saw on Saturday. Michigan, plus 7.5 against Texas. Texas wagon. Michigan, turns out, not very good team. Iowa State and Iowa. Great game here. Iowa State second half, they pulled it off. +3 is what we had. They won the money line. Kentucky -9 against South Carolina, if you remember. I was told South Carolina on a lot of websites they were the worst team in the conference. Turns out Kentucky is the worst team in this conference because they were horrible. Tennessee -10 might be the best team in the country beside Georgia. They put the hurting on NC State. I think they scored 50-plus points, and Nico didn't even have that good a game. The only touchdown that NC State had was a pick six. Nebraska -7.5 spanked Colorado. They could have put up 50 points, decided against it, decided to do the better thing and not stomp on the throat or slice the throat whenever they've got it already stomped. And then Toledo -17 won the game by 16, had a chance late in the game, scored a touchdown, went for it on 4th and 1 on the UMass 20-ish, I believe. They did not get it. So could have just kicked the field goal and covered the spread, but they won the 6. We had Taylor Green over 42.5 rushing yards going up against OK State. I think that hit in the second drive. He was running all over Oklahoma State. Second half, not so much, but I think he had 70-plus rushing yards. The two that didn't hit, Dylan Raiola, over 2.5 passing touchdowns. Again, maybe in the second half if they would have kept the pedal to the metal, but they decided to just run the ball, kill some clock. And then John Mater, over 2.5 passing touchdowns. This one hurt because it felt like it should have happened. We had the over in that game, I think, as well. And I don't have it up here on the leaderboard. I wonder why. But we definitely had the over in that game as well because I remember watching it at 1 o'clock in the morning trying to sweat out the bet there. These teams, they just kept turning the ball over inside the 5-yard line, or they'd go for it and then didn't get the touchdown or field goal. So John also had 200-plus yards on the ground. So they weren't throwing the ball on Texas Tech. They were just running all over them. Here is the updated leaderboard. Hopefully, yeah, I did. Oh, see, there you go. 3-4 in the game picks. Was 3-3 on the recap graphic, but we did have the over in the Washington State Texas Tech game. 1-2 in the player prop. So a 4-6 day total on last Saturday after the 6-0 day on the first week. So little bad, little good. Let's try to start things off right this week. For the play today, we're going to be looking at Arizona State going up against Texas State. Maybe the only game you can bet on today. Not entirely sure if the other game is going to be up for grabs on the sports books. I did break it down the member side. I do see that FanDuel has the game up right now, just no lines currently out, even though we have a line on ESPN. But we are going to be looking at a game that you can watch on TV. You can definitely take it whenever you guys want on Thursday morning, whenever you're watching this. Both these teams have started off the season well, 2 wins. Both of them have looked pretty good in those wins. For this game, Arizona State on the road, I'm taking the road team. I'm taking the road dog. They're plus 1.5 right now. I'm taking them on the money line to win this game outright. I really think by the time I release this video, we're going to see them either pick them or favor. There's a lot of money going in right now in Arizona State. I do think they're the better team, so that's probably why. Arizona State, they played very well defensively in the first game. They played okay defensively in the second game as well. As a team, they're scoring 39 points per game through the first 2 games. That's a major upgrade from last season. They're also getting it done on the ground with the big boys and their big halfback in the backfield. Over the first 2 games, they've rushed for 293.5 yards per game. And the quarterback, Sam Levitt, he's been decent whenever he has to be. They don't have to be great in this game through the year to get the win. I think the majority of the damage will be done on the ground against Texas State. But this is a very weak secondary for Texas State. So maybe whenever Arizona State gets the ground game established, they'll try to spread the ball a little bit more down the field. The squad's only giving up 15 points per game as well for the first 2 games, and they gave up 23 in the last game going up against a decent team in Mississippi State. I don't think Mississippi State's going to make a whole lot of noise this season, but they did hold Mississippi State to 23 points. The other opponent was Wyoming. They hold them to 7 points in the opening day game. The defense looks really good. I'm going to trust them going up against this Texas State offense, who's also looked extremely good over the first 2 games. They're bringing in a fan favorite from James Madison last season. Jordan McLeod is now their starting quarterback. He's led the Bobcats to an average of 47.5 points per game to start off the season, and he's been getting it done through the air, even though he has been going up against 2 FCS teams. He's looked good, and so has this entire team on both sides of the ball. The only problem that I have in this game is that Arizona State has played 2 decent teams, and whenever I say decent, I mean lower end in Wyoming and Mississippi State, and whenever we look at the teams that Texas State has played, we have Lamar and UTSA, who aren't really what I consider good teams. I think that's going to play an effect in this game. I think Arizona State is a little bit more battle tested. Both these teams won the first 2 games, so the number is low enough for the home favorite that I think a lot of the public is going to take the Bobcats here. Like I said, though, before, Texas State, the secondary, they're not going to have a very good squad this season. I think Arizona State might be able to take advantage of that after they just run the ball in the first half. I think Arizona State establish a run game, open up the passing game. It's a tough call here, but I think the public's going to be on Texas State. Sharp money is going to come in on Arizona State. I think it's going to be close to a pick 'em when the game comes out. I'm taking Arizona State here. They're the better team. Let's go to the player props for tomorrow. For the player props, we're going to be looking at Jordan McLeod of Texas State to go over 248.5 passing yards. This guy is a baller. He was really good with James Madison last season and the year before that. Now he's getting a chance at Texas State. So far, so good. He's coming off a really good game in his last one. 309 passing yards, 4 total touchdowns. He's probably could have done a little bit more damage if it was a competitive game, but it really wasn't. He's going to have to go up against this Arizona State defense that's only allowed 173 passing yards per game on the year. But again, Arizona State, they've played Wyoming and Mississippi State, and while both of those teams are decent, the quarterback play, they're not their strong suit there. I think Jordan McLeod will have the ability to make that secondary of Arizona State sweat a little bit with his legs. They're definitely going to have to put a spy on him for one of the linebackers. That could open up the middle of the field a lot more. And if it wasn't for Texas State defense and how I think they're going to play in this game, I would take this team on the money line for Jordan to get the win for his team. I just think this defense is going to let them down. They're going to get leaned on the second half by Arizona State's big boys up front in that halfback. It's not going to stop me, though, from taking Jordan to go over his passing yards. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think he's going to be competitive. Give me the over 248.5 passing yards for him. For the other player prop tonight, we're going to be looking at the Arizona State running back, Cameron Skattebo. First of all, looked up the name. I'm almost positive that's how you pronounce it, Skattebo. If that's how you say it, great name. He is the lead back for Arizona State this season. This guy's an absolute workhorse, and there were questions coming into this season if he could be the bell cow for Arizona State. I think he's answered the questions in the first 2 games because he had 262 yards in the last game. That was going up against Mississippi State. They didn't do anything besides hand the ball off to this young guy. He ran all over that Mississippi State defense. He had 33 carries, 262 yards, and if that wasn't enough, Sam, the quarterback, only threw 10 completions, 69 yards. Cameron had 35 receiving yards as well. I thought it was criminal that they didn't give him a rushing touchdown in that game. I think he carried the ball 33 times. They scored 30 points. The defense, I think, had a touchdown, but the quarterback ran in for the other 2. I would take him to score a touchdown in this game as well, but the anytime touchdowns, I think, is like minus 300, minus 500, so there's no point in taking that. I think we're going to see Texas State get tired in the second half. The big boys are going to be leaning on them in the second half, and Cameron Skattebo, he's going to have another 100-plus yard rushing day. Give me the over 102.5 rushing yards for him. Let's go take a look at the graphic. We're going to be taking Arizona State money line going up against Texas State. Apparently, I like the over as well. I did say I like the over. Let's take the over as well. Over 59.5 points. I think Jordan McLeod and that Texas State offense will be able to score some points. Arizona State should be able to score whenever they want. So we're going to take the over 59.5 points as well. Jordan McLeod, over 248.5 passing yards. And then Cameron Skattebo, over 102.5 rushing yards going up against Texas State. Guys, it's going to do it for the NCAA football plays and props for Thursday, September 12th slate of games. If you guys enjoyed the content, please be sure to drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel below. See you guys next video, and thanks for watching.